Okay, I think we've got it. All right, welcome to your practice. Please find a comfortable posture for being still. There's in this work we're endeavoring to really know, understand, comprehend, realize this part of ourself. And we're all at different stages. At some stage it's just this calling, we don't even understand what it is. Just knowing that things as they are aren't good enough. It's often usually defined through the negation of other things, suffering. Then there's these moments where there's some sort of conceptual understanding of this place, this beingness, this well of peace. We sort of get it on one level. And there's another level where there's this sort of big aha moment that maybe has happened, where there's been this almost direct perception or direct experience of this thing that we were just craving or feeling called to in the sort of other layers. These are arbitrary layers I'm making up. But in that direct experience, there's a very pivotal understanding that comes, meaning that something has been really realized. It almost can't be taken away, can't be confused, can't be doubted. Other stuff can arise, other interests in our life, but this sort of unshakable recognition of this place, this beingness, this heart of what we are. And after that stage comes another sort of phase, I think, where there's this integration where it really starts to rise to the surface or the top, however you want to think of it, of our priorities. And everything else almost starts to orient around it. My experience, it sort of leads and drives my whole life. I'm grateful for that. So part of this sitting time is to go deeper because at every stage, every stage, we're really still just doing the same thing with varying levels of maybe difficulty or challenges. But we're all always doing the same thing. It might feel like, from our perspective, we're looking for something, understanding something. But from the other side of it is, as my teacher would say, we're being pulled into it. We're being called back. The teacher used to say, as much as you're seeking and putting energy into this, the universe is working more than you could ever conceive of to scoop you back up. As much as I would try to push to get to this knowing, I was being pulled more than I could ever realize. Pulled to what? Pushing towards where? We can Think of it as a knowing that is beyond knowledge, a knowing that is beyond information, concepts, ideas. Doesn't require any beliefs, any faith. Doesn't require anything. To know it, to directly experience it, to have that aha, we actually have to remove everything we know, at least everything we think we know, from a mind's perspective, from our thinker. I, me, mine. And in the removal of that is the dawning of what my teacher's teacher called the I, the real I. A presence that is here right now. It just has these other little I thoughts running around in front of it. And it actually has kind of a tender affection for these little eyes running around in front of it. So much so that we identify with those little I thoughts we have. But if our I loses itself in these little I thoughts, the affection turns into difficulty, even suffering, because we lose perspective on the miraculous nature of our mind and it sort of becomes a burden. And so we try to remember, we try to have a direct perception of having a clear mind, to really know, to anchor in the precious presence of being who we are. So that no one has to tell us. We don't have to believe anything told by anyone else. We just know it, not through information, but through a direct perception in the ever present moment. That you can fall deeply into the embrace of this stillness, the quietude of what you are. So may we log our hours, cultivate the deep yearning to be home in ourself, and glimpse the abundant spaciousness beyond our thoughts. Let's start by just settling. Try to feel the whisper of your breath. Your breath is whispering this sound of air moving in and out. It whispers this feeling in our throat or chest or belly. We start to just listen to the whisper of our breath, to settle and calm just a little bit the thoughts of the mind. There's an affection for the breath to listen to it in this way. Tenderly, affectionately listen to the whisper of the breath, the feeling of breathing in and out. Even teach the mind to appreciate this whisper. And so you'll actually let the mind start to tone to the rhythm of the breath. Let the mind tone to the rhythm of the breath. So as you inhale, you sort of whisper the words in your mind in, and then as you exhale, out. You could say inhale, exhale too, but you just whisper the mind's thought in the tempo of your breath, giving your mind something to think about, to encourage it, to pay attention with you. In, out. If your mind has other plans and ideas, besides just whispering with the breath, that's okay. Don't even try to stop it. Just also tune in to the breath and say into the mind, in, out. As you hear the breath and you hear the words alternating, we can now look for this quiet presence. Try to look for it in between the words. When one word ends, before the other word begins, look for this quiet, silent feeling that surrounds the words and it surrounds the inhale and exhale when there's pauses in the breath. Keep the whispering breath practice going and notice the quiet pauses at the changing, at the crossover. Keep the practice going, but instead of in and out, you're welcome to use on the inhale, ah, and on the out breath, hum. So you can extend the ah as long as the inhale. You can extend the hum as long as the exhale. Let it resound in the mind's ear. Let it absorb wandering and alternating thoughts that pull us away. Ah, hum, following the whisper of the breath. Breath will start to lengthen, so the ah and the hum can lengthen. Don't force it. As it naturally lengthens, so too the pause will lengthen, the space between the breaths. And here, observe the silence between the ah and the hum, the inhale and the exhale. It is not the absence of breath, but the recognition of the presence behind it all. If and when you find that silence, that space, it feels like its own thing. It's not just a negation to the ah and the hum. If you find it, you hear it, making no sound. You can let the practice go for a moment and stretch yourself into that silence. Explore it. If you can't quite find it or you're not sure, then just keep with it. The whispering breath, the ah, the hum, the inhale, the exhale. If you perceive it, the silence, you can let the practice go a moment and pour into it. Stretch into the vastness of it. It's silent, but it isn't just silence. That's just how we think of it, relating to sound. It's still, but it isn't just stillness. It's just how we think of it, relating to movement. Even as you hear the ah and the hum, even as you feel the in-breath and the out-breath, its presence is still there. Its presence can still be perceived. You do not have to eliminate the mind or thoughts. You just need a moment, a break, so you can recognize it when the thoughts come back. It's always there. Ah, hum. There comes a stage, a layer of this, where you can't unsee it. It takes no effort, no work to perceive it. You can't get it to go away if you try. It's there. It's there by itself, and it's there with the noise of the thoughts, feelings of the body, it's there. However you relate to it in this moment, try to listen to it. Try to listen to its teachings of silence. Listen and feel its teachings of stillness. Exist in it, as it, dwell and abide in your soft quietude. There comes a layer or a stage where you don't want to leave it. You can't even conceive of wanting it to go away. And all the goings ons of thoughts and feelings, they support it, they enrich it, and vice versa. It becomes the whole of your existence. And you no longer can call yourself a seeker because there's nothing to find. But you have no need to get ahead of yourself. You can always enrich and benefit from listening to the breath and hearing the ah, hum, and hear the calling in between the sounds, and hear the calling in between the feeling of inhale and exhale. Ah, hum. Relax from the practice.